If you're from Presbyterian High School, one of my Sec 4 students recently scored almost full marks for his WA2. And in his EMath, he scored 28 out of 30, which was not a surprise to me because he has been consistently scoring straight A's for math ever since Sec 3. But in this video, I want to break down with you the very specific things that we did to prepare him for his WA2 that maybe you did not think about when you were preparing for your WA2. And I hope that by the end of this video, you will extract the lessons that we used, which I used to refine my curriculum to really support him in helping him score that A1 that he would have expected, that honestly came pretty easy for him. But before I go into that, I must say that this student of mine from Presbyterian High School, he's a very driven individual. And I've taught many students across Singapore across the past 3 years. And rarely do I ever come across a student who is so driven and so meticulous like him. And whenever I see him in class, he always opens up his pencil case, and inside his pencil case, there's always a checklist of the things that he needs to do. And that checklist is always changing every single lesson I see him, which means that he's actually doing the work, he's actually pushing himself on a daily basis. And I feel so inspired when I teach him, because whenever I see the checklist that he has, he always reminds me of my younger days when I was in secondary school as well, which was kind of refreshing to see, which reminded me of how driven I was last time as well. And I could really see a lot of parallels between me and him. Now, the grade that he scored was a high A1. It was close to full marks already. So what we did was very different from what we would usually do for a student who is just aiming to get a bare minimum A1. Now, for him, I gave him my super concise question bank that allowed him to gain multiple practices of the same difficult question type that always comes up for all of your topics. And I knew that this time for your WA2 in Presbyterian High School, you all were primarily tested on your Sec 4 topics. And one of the difficult Sec 4 topics that you guys have is actually a probability. And the difficult thing about probability is that every single question looks the same, but actually we can categorize them into many different buckets of question types, which is usually not done by schools and not done by textbooks. So what I do for my students at the center is we take a step further and we really organize this into buckets. So when this student of mine actually revised, he knew very specifically what question types that he was lacking in, and he didn't need to waste time to go and do all the basic probability question types that he already knew how to do. So by slowly tackling his weaknesses week in, week out, we got to the point that by the time 1 week before his exam, he already told me that he was ready. And in fact, we started to revise other topics because we no longer needed to revise for his WA2. And lo and behold, he almost got a full marks, and I thought that was super impressive, right? Given that he also had NSG to deal with and he wasn't even in school for most of the time. This is the power of having a structured system that works predictably every single time, regardless of what school you're in. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm extremely confident that he'll score A1 for his prelim as well as his O levels. Now, if you're from Presbyterian High School and if you are looking to get the same system, don't waste any more time.